Greetings, loves. Greetings, greetings. So, a little, um, I was trying to think of where there should be a little or a lot, but I'm gonna say a lot. Look at it, cricket. I'll let you know I've been wiping my nose a lot. Under the weather. First time getting out, and I don't know. It seemed like it's been a week, but I think it's been at least a few days. As you know, it's been raining a lot here. And I think in some other areas. I'm in Georgia, Atlanta. Okay, if it's not straight, it's gonna bother me. Um, Pam Hogg. Ugh. Gonna have to do a separate video on her. I was listening to some of her speeches before, and she passed. I'm kind of late finding out about this. Crazy because, it's the fashion industry, right? But, it just reminded me that, life, time, is once it's gone, it's gone. And speaking of which, I came here to pick up an order. And I meant to wear my GoPro so that I can, make a little video out of that and show y'all how they be trying to play with you. Play with your time. They'll make you wait forever and you be just as nice and patient until you have to tear them apart. I just want you to check out my hat. Okay. Very old hat, but still looks good. It hasn't even faded. Pinstripe. Okay. Pinstripe. Black with a little glitter and a bow. So, Pam Hogg, I will definitely be talking about her a little more, and we'll be going over her contributions. Yes. That also reminded me about, making sure I put more effort in and getting done the things I want to get done. Because I'm like, I still haven't gotten anything out about Asada. Asada Shakur. A lot of you guys know who she is, and if you don't remember, she not too long ago passed away. And I have a documentary that I want to put together about her, although there have been many, but this is a combination of a lot of stuff. And a lot of the materials that I want to put in there are not going to pass with these social media accounts. So, and thank you for hitting the like, guys. Come in, you hit the like. Be nice if they would allow us to have a banner running. And I'm going to play with some of these filters on here. Because they do. They have a lot of filters. Oh, you can do green screen on here. I love that. And if I would have known, I would have had a green screen of one of the ladies I'm talking about, but I'll do that because that was recent, okay? So, let me see if I got a picture of Pam. Oh, I don't have access given. So, guys, here's something that's going to be new that I'm going to start doing. As I am being trolled on here, every time you come and you troll in my chat, guys, I'm going to start revealing things to let people know why you're trolling me. Why you're trolling me and why you have been trolling me for such a long time. I'm going to start talking about what you are doing. I'm going to start talking about what you have been doing. See, here is my new idea, my new plans. More content. However, I will blend in Alaska. No, it's just, it's raining. I've been under the weather. I have pretty much zero immune system, and this is the first time I've been actually outdoors in a few days. So, I don't know. This was the closest thing to the door, and I just put it on because it's not only water resistant. It's got a hood, so it just worked out. Is it also super thick and warm? Yeah, but it's cold. And hey, I got 4 different kinds of anemia, so right now I could use the iron infusion and the blood infusion. So for me, I feel actually comfortable in this. Remember, you got to remember, I'm different. So good to see you there. Good to see you, especially here early in the morning. You saying it's cold in North Carolina? I mean, no, you in North Carolina? Okay, and it's raining. I know. Somebody else said, I think it's raining in California, so it seemed like it's a global thing. Right? Well, not global, because that would mean everywhere. But in the U.S., it seemed like it's raining in a lot of places, which kind of taps into what, some of my suspicions. So I have to go check out the weather in more detail and find out what's going on right now, because it's doing a lot of raining, and I got some messages that I was needing to share, and I am a lot of things I say will be coded, but I can't be quiet like at all anymore. I already said my time is limited here, so never afraid. Just, how can I phrase it? My thing is, if they shut you down completely, then what can you do? So I've always kind of looked at it like that. It's like every time I do make tiny steps, they go way overboard to trying to stop me from going in that direction. And they just want me to talk about these folks that everybody else is talking about, and she did this and she did that. Newsflash, I've never been the type of person to care about what the next person is doing. I mean, you can tell that by my originality, but especially to talk about it, and then especially on my platform, I don't care. I care about money because you need money, So what brings views and all that? Yeah. Because you need money, right? You need to pay the bills. But as far as anything else, what I care about is because I have passion. I'm talking about deep, hardcore passion. And I don't ever remember it not being like that. And I do feel sorry for people who is not like that. So my head and my heart is always spinning, always generating, always calculating, always taking notes, always scribbling something, always, oh my God, I just cannot wait. This is going to be so great. Put this together, put that together. And every time I see things or I see people, or even this on the wall here, I'm just over analyzing it and reimagining it and admiring this or noticing the topography or whatever. It's just, always on, always ticking, just always. So there could be nothing to really top that, ever. So if I'm speaking on anything else, it's frivolous, and trust me, I don't really care, unless, I don't know, Christian baby, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. I actually do care, and if I have an opinion about something, that's my true opinion. However, what I would prefer to be talking about, I'm getting kind of loud, I know. It's always been from day one. No matter how I bring it, they'll punish you. Like they'll say, even if they come back and do it years later, they'll come and say, "Oh, you can't talk about." Because I'm gonna go with one I've commonly expressed before, because it's so simplistic seeming, but it is just that's just how they nitpick at everything. So they say you can't talk about the benefits of hydrogen peroxide or baking soda. Um, and they'll find a way to label it. You know, they'll say that's health information or misinformation or shit like that. So your video where you were talking about this, we're gonna take it down and we're gonna give you a strike. So then they will do that, and I try to keep minimal stuff like that on at a time, because I know that they have the habit of going back and finding as many as they can so they can try to hit me with 3. Now, at the same time, they be behind the scenes pushing offers real hard that most content creators would go crazy over. And I just ignore it, because my ego or my pride is like, as simple as that was, you won't never let me live. I just wanted to be me, and I was never overboard, never out loud, never like super conspiracy theories. Look at me. You know, I never was trying to shine bright like a nature boy, or not that I'm comparing myself in any way to him, except for all that attention he wanted. You know, never was I coming in that way. What I know deep down inside is that the attack on me is so much deeper. So much deeper. It's about the value. The value in me and the value in the things that I have to deliver. I sit back and I watch today how many things that I used to tell you guys about and warn you about existing and coming years ago on here we are, you know. And not only here we are, most people are acknowledging it as being so. And I sit back and say, damn, if only, you know, I could have had people's attention and, you know, had quite a few people to actually listen and take heed on these things, because the level of far gone our people are, for the most part, you don't even know. You don't even know. Because when you begin to change someone from the inside out, you begin to change their very DNA and shit like that, these people can do pretty much anything. What you are is what you are to you. And you don't necessarily know that, hey, this is not who I used to be, who I was meant to be, or what I actually am. This is what they have changed me into, and they are creating me to be. And one thing I can say is, because I have very little time, okay? And this is not a true measure. I'm just telling you that, like, when I say little, I mean like this kind of little probably. But I have very little time here. Not where I sit, but just in existence. And I'm being very, very clear about that. It was cold in North Carolina this weekend. I'm not surprised about that. North Carolina has always been a colder state to me, and that's one of the reasons why I had to flee from it. It was just too cold for my liking, you know. Too far north, too close to Virginia and all that. You know, too far on the other side of those mountains. But when you're clear about a lot of things about what you're supposed to be doing, then, you know, you're just clear, right? So if you just keep, for whatever reason, not doing any of those things, what's the point? You know, you have only you're gonna feel a way about that, and only you're gonna deal with it, right? You know, the suffrage doesn't stop anyway. The torture doesn't stop anyway. The pain doesn't stop anyway for Newark, New Jersey. So you definitely used to cold weather. Only thing I can think of in New Jersey is when I was going up New Jersey for a delivery. I think I've been at least maybe 2-3 times in a truck. Would never want to do that again. I will always turn them down after that, no matter how much they paying. Because you got to be built like that to drive a truck up north. I don't care what they say. Oh, it's just this one delivery. No, sir, no, ma'am. I was on a highway. I guess you call it, I'm calling it a highway, but it probably is called a freeway or something. I don't know what y'all call it there. But because I hear it does have a specific name, because it is like it's for cars only and no trucks at all. And sometimes when you go to different states, Hawthorne Avenue, they have the sign, the way they do signs is different. So when you're down south, you expecting plain in your face signage. And I just was not seeing it like that up there. And you always hear the driver say, yeah, you better be careful. You better make sure you're on the right path and you don't get on this and get on that. And guess where I found myself? And you stick out like a sore thumb. You feel like a big in a world of littles. And then the highway itself, it just feels really small. It feels like I'm on a toy or something. Like I'm not even, like it was clear I'm not supposed to be on this. After a couple of minutes of driving, I'm like, this don't feel right. It feels weird. It feels like it's so small. So did I get caught? No. And everybody was like, I don't understand how you didn't get your ass caught. Because I hear tickets can be costly. I hear they can also do other things like hold you there, put you out of service for a while, tow your shit, really just give you a hard time. And you don't want none of that, especially when you out here trying to pay these bills. You ain't got time for that. I figured it out. I don't know. I remember pulling off somewhere, and I don't know if I ran in and asked someone, like, how am I going to get, or I just took a chance. Because really, me, I'm not really that, as somebody who drove trucks for a long time, I'm not really good. I've never been geographically enhanced. That's what I call it. Like I'm bad with directions and maps and things like that. So, when you have to trust in GPS like that, yeah, that's not a good place. You said Scholar and Shepherd, but I used East Orange address to go to school in East Orange. Oh, okay. So that's where you used to live? Wow. So yeah, I was very happy and lucky to get away from there. But other than that, man, listen, I could tell you one of my absolute favorite all-time songs is, and I want to call it New Jersey, by Queen Latifah, from the soundtrack New Jersey Drive. Latifah gets down, and she really did her thing on that song. That song is, to me, one of the classics. Because, they say rap, hip-hop is... I don't think I'm supposed to say that word. So I have to try to make sure I clock myself on all the things I'm not supposed to do, because they can add up real quick. But they say hip-hop is DEAD. They're saying it's... This time around, I'm noticing... people are actually canceling rap, hip-hop. I find that weird, but I think that's a conversation we need to have, because to me, it's not a small thing, it's big, but it bothers me to a degree. I don't like pretty much what we have out now, and I think that there's a lot of good talent that we just don't get to hear about because they're not pushed. But to make it go away, are we supposed to sit back and let that happen? You learn to read maps. Listen, and I'm telling you, my father, he wasn't no joke. He did not accept there being nothing I could do, right? That was never an option. And so with the maps and things, never would I just really, I wish y'all could understand without me having to press it, because it just really gets my point across when I'm telling you something about my father. But the fear of this man that we had was I want to say bigger than the fear you're supposed to have of God. Um, because if this is who you see, he was our God. He ruled our world, and he did not play, and he had zero emotions as far as we knew. So when he puts down something as a rule or a law, that's it. There's no possibility of that not ever being it. And the fact that I would not get math and maths, that was unacceptable to him. And I was just like, bro, I can work on the math thing, but I just don't know what it is about maps. Because I mean, I've studied and I still do to this day, anthropology, stuff like that. But directions and we used to have to study atlases. We used to have to study maps. And you know, back then, you would primarily use those things. You know, we didn't have GPS. There was no such thing unless the military maybe have had it, but we didn't know about it. So people primarily use maps. You know, every year or so you get another map. You had different kind of maps. You had your world encyclopedias. You had your atlases, and yes, and that's the thing. They're not supposed to go together. And I'm gonna tell you, I think it's a combination of a lot of my other instincts that led me through, because as you know, you cannot completely, or even I want to say more than 50% rely on GPSs, especially as a truck driver. Even if you get a truck driver GPS, and back when I first got my CDL, GPS still wasn't a thing. And you were clowned if people even thought your ass was trying to think about using a GPS. So I think instinct just helped me out a lot. And just, I don't know, look, I had a lot of challenging times in my trucking career, but it wasn't something I was like meant to do as a career. I don't have a passion. I do have fun driving them mugs. Now that I ain't gonna lie, but it was just something that I just nobody could mess with me on that. Like that's just something I'm real good at. So have I been in pickles, man? Let me tell you, I done been stuck in some stuff that I want to say at least 75 or more % of your truckers would be calling a tow truck to get out of. Okay, I done been dangling with my life on the edge with no help in sight and just me by myself. Okay, I done been in a grave, going through a graveyard all of a sudden because of GPS. Okay, I done been fucking in the backyard of somebody, like on their land, and you can see they gardens or whatnot, but I'm next thing you know, it's a big ass 18-wheeler coming through their backyard and shit because GPS said turn here. You know what I'm saying? And it's a minute before I can get out of their yard, and I don't know what's on the other side. Then when I get on the other side, it's thick mud, and then there's a graveyard right here, and I'm like, I don't know shit for shit about where what. And I didn't keep maps on me because I didn't fucking read them shits anyway. I didn't know how to read and apply those things, and I would not learn it. I just didn't want to. My brain didn't want to. So I let it go. This is why I didn't finish. I just told him, I said, sir, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. My brain didn't want to do it. Said always fell back on terrain features. You could drop me off in West Virginia, Appalachians, and I can navigate myself out with a map. And that's good. That's good. It's got to be a link between the math, the geography, the directions. That is to why I'm having problems with it. I don't know what that is. Maybe there's answers that other experts can have, or there's studies out already, or I would need to be studied, because I'm brilliant in a lot of other areas. I'm a genius in a lot of other areas, and that's just not me talking. That's actually true, documented. Even to this day, I'm, 4.0 things list. It's crazy the shit that I can actually do and accomplish and have and am accomplishing. But when it comes to compasses, I have to keep one on. I have to keep one on. I'll keep it real with geography, with directions. I do need to give myself the fair shot. I don't know. I was looking for the word, but hey, of sitting down and trying to learn it, because I can tell you the truth. I have not. I've just given up. You know how you go up in grades, and it just frustrated me more. It just frustrated me, and I just didn't want to. That's just how that went. And I took my punishment for that. And I guess my excelling so much in other areas somehow got me out of that. And I remember even on one occasion, I just skipped a grade that required it. Sometimes I was given a pass on that shit, but which didn't help me, right? But for me to know what is north, south, east, west, which is important in trucking, I just, without an actual compass, and then it's like you have to even know that that's right, right? How do you do that? I would have to Google the answer to that. So that leaves me unsure. And for someone who is like a prepper, and I'm very tactical, that's not a good thing. And I know coming up, it just keep coming on me that, oh, you got to get that shit together. So it is something that I plan on working on, and learning how to work a map. Also, which this don't go, we way off the subject, but I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get back on subject. Don't remember where it came from. I think it came from going down the rabbit hole of the recent debate that Lord Jamar had with Professor Dave. I don't know if y'all know about it, seen it, but I did a couple videos on it clowning Jamar ass about flat earth and all that. But I think it was coming from that rabbit hole to where I was seeing about, they were saying that all our maps are wrong anyway. I always find that, to me, there has to be some correlations there with that tidbit of information and, me having a problem, comprehending. I don't give it too much because, there's a lot of other things that I can comprehend that I'm sure are wrong. You said that's right. Oh, y'all still talking about that? But they said that, they're not telling the truth about the sizes of places, sizes of countries, and about the locations of countries and shit like that. So basically I have to find some more stuff about that, because that's a conversation I would love to have. If I had one, should I say it though? I don't think so. But I think that it's essential. I think that people should. I think that if you don't, a community one would be great, I don't know if people are in prepper groups. You can have like get together. That I heard that. So for you, what are you saying? It's bigger or smaller than what they're saying? Because I think what I heard was that it's bigger, way bigger. Is that? How much that strikes my curiosity, I can't even sit here and tell you right now. because I've always been fascinated by how big they say it is. I mean, that being a continent with countries in it. And it's always been, explained as this, to even think that it's so much bigger. And I was always told, too, that it encompasses some other countries that they're calling countries but are not countries. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that. Not only is that possible, it's likely to be, like a lot of these things are likely to be true. Because I know of so many other things that are likely to be true that seem, I guess, the most absolutely ridiculous. Like something I was talking about to someone just yesterday. The fact that stuff like Parkinson's and MS don't exist. Those are vitamin deficiencies. Those are B12 issues, and those diseases. Diagnoses were created just so that they can push and make money off that, because there had to be a purpose and an agenda. But it literally is B12 facts. So to me, those two, that and Africa being so much bigger, and possibly, like, I don't know which ones in particular. I'm pretty sure you know, because you sound like you've studied on this. But certain countries, they say that they're saying are countries, they're not. They're actually part of Africa. That's what they said. Because I don't know if you guys remember, they used to say, oh, you can walk to Africa from here. And I used to always be like, now you going too far. You going to get your overwoke ass away from me. I did. I used to think like that. Yes. He had a diagnosis of what? Parkinson's? Remember JC said they gave Ali the shakes? It's neurological. I've talked about this so many times, and I've told you guys to definitely, if you don't do nothing else, could it be B12? Sally Patchlock. They took her movie, I want to say Lifetime did it or something. But they took that movie and they put it on YouTube. It's free. You can listen to it. You can even listen to the book, audiobook. But of course you want to do both. And, if you don't have an audiobook, just email me. And, you can open it up on Word and it'll read it to you. And you don't even have to sit there like that, but that's vital information. I keep telling people it is. As someone who, I have these issues, that's vital. Everybody should get that information. It just opens up so much. And it's I could tell you two off the top of my head. Parkinson's and multiple sclerosis. Okay? And I'm saying this as fact. It's so fact is fact. Those two are not true. Okay? They just were created just to bamboozle you to get money. And the book is Could It Be B12? That's the name of it. Could It Be B12? By Sally Patchlock. Now, we know movies and books different. So the movie is kind of telling you about her and how she came about and how she wrote the book, but it's not even beginning to touch upon what's in the book. The book is medical. The book is getting into the meat and potatoes of the subject. So you have to do the book. But there you go. There you go. That is a fact. But to know that a lot of them are just vitamin and mineral deficiencies, things that can easily and not costly, it wouldn't be costly to. That's why she was Sally. He would have been a great speaker for the Nation of Islam. Bigger voice than Malcolm. Who are we talking about? Oh, Ali. You know, guys, I think that part of, you know how they have these, what people would generally call industry plants. I think that part of them even bringing Clarissa to the forefront was to, you know, muddy up some things there. But that's one thing that definitely hurts my heart so much so. Is just knowing how they silenced Ali the way that they did, and they did that to so many. And it's interesting when you look at the different ways that they did for each one, each person, you know. But to hear somebody that most of us, a lot of us would consider a traitor, a controversial, not, well, traitor would be a good word, like Jay-Z say, is it Holy Grail? Is that, what's the name of the song? Gave Ali the shakes. You know, he sang it. How do you give someone Parkinson's? What did they say causes you to have Parkinson's? And I can tell you guys a personal story that I have told before, and I'll say it again. My father they gave him a diagnosis of Parkinson's out of the blue. Out of the blue, we began to have issues, and, you know, he was falling out, and as his own caregiver, just me, by myself, just me, I gotta pick him up. Dead weight. And I'm over here dying my damn self because I didn't even know what my issues were. And needing that B12 was my issue. This is a long, long rabbit hole of shit. Because you got to step into that, the whole B12 thing too. Or also whatever. But he kept, my father would code out on me a lot. Meaning he would die. And so as I'm trying to figure out why he's doing that, he would just be paralyzed, like, you know, can't move and shit. And I want to say it's the first time I've ever seen him cry. And it was just him sitting there. I remember this, on the floor, head against the wall like this, cannot move. Don't know why. I don't know why. All of a sudden, and I saw a tear come out the corner of his eye. I was more afraid of that tear than anything else. I couldn't believe it. It shook me. It scared me. And I'm like, okay, now I have no idea what's about to happen. This man does not show emotion, but crying? Oh, hell no. Well, I'm calling it crying, but I know that tear fell. And it had to be from fear and anger or whatever of being out of control. Because I was there. A couple of years, not even a couple of years, but maybe a year later, I found myself partially paralyzed. And I was having the same issues. B12 deficiencies. Okay? And that's to make that story short. There's so many details in between that, but that's to make that story short. But they did trying to give him a Parkinson's diagnosis. So I got to learn what that was. And when they did, and he was at Grady, and I sat right there. They kept him for like it was over a week. I even was coming on here during that time. I wouldn't leave because I don't trust them, and I know, you know, we mutants. Okay, if you know, you know. when I say we, I'm talking specifically about myself and him. Okay, me more. All right. I'm like, okay, day 4, day 5, bruh. What? Cause doctor. Okay, now new doctor. What's going on? What's been happening with my father? What's going on with my father? We still don't know. We're still running tests. Give me a printout. Give me a list of the tests that you're running, because I don't understand what you're trying to say to me. We've been here for days, and all y'all been doing is trying to get me to leave, and I'm not leaving. You have no answers, and this is what you do. You either give me an answer or I'm taking them home. You can't take it, bitch. I can. First of all, I can. KILL. I just go crazy. Okay, when when you playing with my father, listen. I lose it and I don't care. I lose it and I don't care. Okay, I turn into, like, you won't like me if I'm angry. For real. Like, yeah, turn into, I don't know, probably the biggest gangster you ever want to see. Cause I'm just that. There's no rationale, reason out, or nothing. Like, I literally lose my motherfucking mind. Okay, and the way that I speak, the things that I say, my energy, my demeanor, everybody's afraid, because they know I 1,000,000,000% not only mean everything I'm saying, it will come to pass. Okay, so when I say you better stop playing with me, and I will stop everybody's heart from beating, and he and I will leave, because when you get to telling me you're not gonna let him go, but you had him for days and you ain't got no answers, Sway. I know you up to something, bruh. I know you up to something. I'm not new to this. So what you not gonna do is with this one right here, okay? Not even in passing. Oh, did you hear something you wanted to hear? Okay, good. Tune in every time. That's what you do. But yeah, you gonna have to let him go. It do. They play games and they try to, get their way and shit. But they wasn't getting it this time. I said, you don't have something for me. You got 2 more days. That's it. And that would be 2 total weeks that you've had. You had your chance. And we out of here. We out of here, because you can't tell me why we've been here this long and you don't got no answers. And you telling me you trying to find an answer. Nah. And guess what? The next day, as soon as they come in, whatever time they be coming, the doctors hit the floor and they say, oh, they starting to do their rounds. Soon as they hit the floor, I had 3. Now, I only be one at a time. 3. And they pull me in a room and they say he has progressive Parkinson's disease. And he will, within 7 months, be completely incapacitated, like baby state. Not like he can't talk, can't walk. Just you're gonna have to put him in a home. First of all, bro, I almost punched you for saying that. I literally said that to him. I almost punched you for saying. He just sitting there looking. They looking at me like, they don't expect this to come out of my mouth. I'm like, bro, when it came to my mom and my listen, especially with my father, because you, first of all, what you wasn't gonna do is get your hands on him. Secondly, what you not finna do is play with me, because I grew to understand why he was like he was, and he didn't trust y'all, and there was, under no circumstances, we don't deal with them. That's how he was, and everybody thought it was extreme and he was crazy. Did he Did he have better alternatives? Blah, 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 blah. He was MK Ultra for a reason, but he sure didn't jive with their ass at all. And I grew to understand what that was. So when this dude told me progressive Parkinson's, I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So he's explaining to me what it is, but then I'm talking about what's the progressive part. He was like, I never seen anything like this before, and he's at a progressive state, and he's gonna go downhill way faster than you normally would, and blah blah blah. I said, first of all, y'all predict this shit. I said, is you a CNI nigga? Like, I don't know. I can't remember the movie I got that from, but it was always funny to me. You can't go out that door. You can't go out that door. So, cause he was like in the movie, I'm gonna need me a CNI nigga to see, and I'm gonna need me a hearing something nigga to see. I can't remember how it went. To hear what the fuck I just heard, to see what the fuck I just saw. That shit was always funny to me. So I'm like, is you a CNI nigga or something? And he was like, he didn't understand. And I'm like, you're telling me his future and it's all that extreme, that bad? I was like, nah, bruh. Okay, let me get the paperwork on that, and we out of here. Yeah, let me get the paperwork on that, and we out of here. And like I've told y'all, my doctor is the same as Tony Braxton's doctor, and you know, we pretty cool. You know, he wanted him, but he understand I'm different, yet I'm different, so he get that part right. So I made him my father's doctor as well. I said, Dr. Blake, do you know what they said was going on? Do you know that they said my father had progressive Parkinson's and blah, 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 blah? He already knew. But, you know, what can he say? He can't tell me nothing. So I said, okay, bro, if you don't get your ass out my mouth, I already know. I already know since you staring. Can you read my lips? I already know. I understand. I understand. I mean, the fuck? Yo, these motherfuckers is on my ass. And I just... Bro, listen. I'm going to tell y'all how this going to play out. And it's good that you're here, Derek, because you're one of the ones that I consider like my fam. You know how people had their platforms, they had their people. And you, Michael, a couple of other ones that been around for a while. And y'all my fam. We just down to the wire, okay? And I'm just speaking in codes because I have to. We just down to the wire right now. Them motherfuckers is on my ass. And so you can never see me again after each time you see me. Who knows? But when I tell you I've been at war, and I'm going to start breaking some of this shit down, and then I'm going to leave in-depth stuff. I had hoped to have time to, I wanted to write a book. I did. I don't have that kind of time, and too many obstacles have been in the way. So I think what I'm going to start to do, because I also want to leave stuff for my children, my grandchildren, onto my information. I think I'm going to start leaving it in the form of just like vlogs, story time, or whatever. And it's going to be in my paid tiers on YouTube. And I'll probably do a series also on TikTok or something like that, just to kind of spread it out a bit. And I'm just going to start telling it. I'm talking about from day one. I'm talking about from the time I can remember. Okay. Okay. So now I'm back. So, I mean, of course I get in. Yeah, of course I get an interruption right then and there. But, yeah, I'm going to start telling it. So, see, I didn't even get... Let me finish this subject and keep it moving. Because somebody is watching me, you know, and they write this all in my face and my mouth and everything. And I just... sometimes I think stuff is silly, and I just like, I'm just like, that's what y'all are putting your time and energy into, and I shake a lot of things off, and I just don't even let shit phase me, and deal with whatever comes as it comes. But it's like a lot of things that I used to just shake off and be like, whatever, man, do you. I gotta start paying more in-depth attention to. And I had my GoPro. I was supposed to be wearing it because I wanted to capture some things, and I forgot to turn it on. So I'm about to plug it in. But I'll be doing more of that too, like capturing my environments and everything. Riding my bike, riding my scooter, going on adventures and shit. I'm about to start putting a lot of things down, as they say, on wax. Because, hey, I might not even see 2026. And to be honest, it it could be by choice. If it comes down to that, it will be. You know, at the end of the day, they won't get me, especially how they want me. They won't get me. They won't. They won't. So I'm getting ready to get in the wind. Let me try and see if it's raining actually, or is that just fall off from where it was raining. I don't know when I'm gonna turn this on, but I think when I get to my next destination, I'm on a little adventure this morning. I didn't mean to stay here this long. Oh, let me finish, because I gotta say what the subject was about. So, I did talk about Sada Shakur, even though she wasn't in the title, how I have been trying to put together a documentary. I wanted to do like probably a little small series about her. And so far, I haven't been able to get anything that I'm putting out to pass. They're hitting me one way or the other. And just to be clear, because a lot of times I just bypass stuff and just either don't do it or move around it, and I don't say anything, but I'm speaking now. A lot of stuff that I try to put out, they try to find a way to knock it. So that's one of them, and I'm still doing it. I'm just gonna present it from. So yeah, they knocked me off again. Yeah, I'm gonna present it from another platform. So, what else? Pam Hogg. I'm gonna talk about her a little bit more. Get into some of her history, her fashions, and all that.